One of you had asked me if any of the mice in Maple Valley played instruments, and yes, they do. Today I'm bringing some of those instruments to life. To get started, I looked around my home for objects with interesting shapes that I thought could help form the main bodies of the instruments. If you're looking for a paper mache paste recipe, I'll include one in the video description, along with links to a few other paper mache projects I've made. Now that I have a good assortment of shapes, I can start turning them into instruments. Theodore doesn't play an instrument, but he agreed to give me a hand keeping them to scale. I didn't really know what I had in mind, but I had decided I didn't want them to be exact copies of real instruments. That way I could let my imagination run wild. So I started sketching shapes onto the paper mache pieces to get the ideas flowing. I tried to take into consideration the different heights and curves of each piece. For some of the instruments, like this guitar-shaped one, I cut two of the same pieces. For others, like these, they nestled together really well, which helped create a bit more dimension. Once I had the instrument bodies figured out, I started gluing the backs on. I glued these down to some cardstock or food packaging, but you could even use masking tape to join them. Most of them ended up being flat on one side, which worked out perfectly fine. Some of them had large openings, so I covered them with some masking tape to close them up. Since they were turning out to be string instruments, I also had to keep in mind how I would add the necks. I didn't want the tape and glue showing, so I added a couple of layers of paper mache over them, which also helped make them feel like they were all one piece. Adding this detail in the beginning would have made things easier, but it would have been difficult to paper mache around. So I poked a few holes and used my electric nail sander like a drill. I couldn't go too fast or press too hard since it was a nail sander and I didn't want to burn out the motor. Afterward, I did have to sand the surface a bit because it was looking a little rough. This step is completely optional, but I decided to add a very thin layer of paper clay to each instrument to give them a smoother finish. On a couple of them, I even scratched up the surface a bit to give them some natural looking texture. Thought it would be fun to paint those areas to resemble tree bark, almost as if the mice had decided to give them a more rustic feel. Then it was on to sanding to smooth them out, leaving the textured areas just as they were. Here I'm tracing the openings so I can create an overlay that fits perfectly. Then I trace the shape onto some wood grain embossed food packaging. I took a strip of cardstock and I'm going to use it to add some detail to the neck of this instrument. It just seemed to be screaming for a little detail on each side, so I glued on some shapes I had cut to make furniture feet. I cut out and glued together several layers of this shape until it was thick enough to become the top of a fiddle-like instrument. I think it really finished off the top nicely, and I love the extra detail it adds to the instrument. Once again, I'm using a bit of cardstock to add some detail to the neck. I really love this overlay made with the same embossed cardstock because it fits this instrument perfectly. For this neck, I glued 3 layers together for strength. Digging through my little bits and bobs, I found these little strips that I thought could work as fret bars. And for the little tuning knobs, I just paper quilled some tiny little pieces. Yes, I base coated this one with orange because I knew I wanted it to have a deep, rich wood tone in the end. I really loved the way the wood grain was turning out for this one. I decided to keep using a brown palette to help maintain that carved wood vibe. For my cello-like instrument, I'm using black for the details because I think it looks really nice against the deep, rich tones. Since this one has a more rustic feel, I thought pieces of dried avocado pit would make interesting details. I even used some chalk pastels here and there to deepen the color. And of course, I had to shine them up to give them that polished look. Even the rustic one, but they'd be just fine without it too. Once the finish goes on, they start to feel like real little instruments. To add the strings, I first stiffened some lengths of sewing thread. I glued the threads at the top first, let them dry, and then secured them at the bottom. Super glue isn't something I use very often, but it was the best choice here. Now for this cute little case. I traced the instrument onto some food packaging, then constructed it much the same way as my hat boxes. This case top came together really nicely, so it's time to finish off the rest of the case. I'm using a grocery bag to line the case, starting with the back and outside. For the sides, both inside and out, I'm covering them with a strip of grocery bag as well. To finish it off, I painted the outside black. I only made a case for one of the instruments this time. Making cases for all of them would have added quite a bit more time to the project. I'll also link my hat box video in the description since the construction process is very similar and it gives a better look at how it all came together. I wasn't entirely sure where this project was headed when I started, but these really do look like little instruments a mouse might play. Now all they need is a place to be played. I wonder if they ever have concerts in the park. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.